not, I'm going to because dynamic means you can adjust dynamic in size. So meaning they can grow or shrink in size. Shrink as needed. You can add, remove items from the list. Add, remove, modify. Modify items from the list. So okay, so lists are, these are like, there are some methods, right, built-in operations like append, extend, insert, remove, pop for manipulation. These methods are very important in list. So one is append, extend, insert, remove, and pop. So you already know these methods, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we are going to learn about, that's a list. So our topic is today arrays. Okay. So arrays fixed in size, fixed size. So arrays have fixed size, meaning you need to specify the size when you create them. Once created, the size cannot change. The size cannot be changed. Next, homogeneous elements. So arrays can only contain elements of the same data type. Example, because lists can have multiple data types, right?
Yeah.
You can have multiple data types in a list, but homogeneous elements means arrays can only contain elements of the same data type. Okay, so example, integers, floats, strings, etc. If it's integers means integers only. Okay, then if it's integers, which means integers. Examples, integers only, or strings only, or booleans only, or or floats only. Make sense, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, so list you can have multiple data types.
But arrays you can't.
Yeah, arrays cannot, you cannot have multiple data types in arrays. So list you can have multiple data types. Arrays are fixed size, but lists are not fixed size. You can, lists are dynamic. Lists are dynamic. Arrays are static, means you cannot change. Once you declare, it's fixed. So next, efficient for numeric computations. So arrays are more memory efficient and faster for numerical computations compared to lists. Okay, so now how do we declare an array? First of all, okay, so when you want to declare an array, when you want to use an array in Python programming language, make sure that you have to use a keyword import. Okay, keyword import array. Okay, array. So what is array? If I use okay, so creating an array, this is very creating an array of integers. Okay, so let's say my array. Okay, so print okay, so here I am giving one thing called my array. So see, so you have, what is this one, you have to understand each line of code, then so import array. My array is in a variable, right? Here if it's left side, it's in a variable, then you are using array dot array. So this array is this one, this array is this one, or so this is a method of array. These two are different. This is method array, this is a array, the import array. Maybe I can do one thing, I can give a short name as array, then I can change this one. Make sense, guys, now? So
Yeah.
okay, array, you imported array, but as array means you're giving a shortcut of array. Instead of using array, using array. So this array is this one, dot of this method. So now what we get, so we didn't get anything. Why? Maybe we are in the wrong file. So python 3 space all purpose dot py. Okay, my array of what we get, so array of I, we got 1 2 3 4 5. Nice. So how can we access an elements? So let's say accessing elements, an element. If I access same thing, my array, this is the variable of 2, what will I get if I access array of 2?
I don't know.
Okay, so arrays, that's okay, arrays are indexed based. So index starts from where? Same thing as a list.
Zero.
Yeah. So then what will be the value of 2?
3.
3. Okay, makes sense,
Yeah.
Landon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next thing we are going to we can do so many things like adding elements not supported like lists. So one thing here, adding elements, elements not supported like lists. Okay, it's not supported like lists. So also my array append 6, this operation is not supported for this operation is not supported for arrays. Okay, so now modifying elements. So my array of 10, so if I get this one, then what will I get? So what will I get if my array of 2 equal to 10? Then what it will do?
Wait.
It replaces the it replaces the second index position. Second index position is 3, and then it modify with the 10. Make sense, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Lists, so lists flexible in size and content type. arrays fixed size homogeneous data type. What is a homogeneous data type means?
Um.
Homogeneous data type means it only allows same data type. So if you see, um, homogeneous elements means arrays can only contains, okay, this is arrays can only contain elements of the same data type. Example, integers only, or strings only, or booleans only, or floats only. Make
Okay.
sense?
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. So lists flexible in size and content type. Content type means you can have many data types, but then arrays a fixed size and homogeneous data type. Okay. So
Okay.
let's write a key point. So maybe I will update the key points later, but uses lists used for general purpose data storage and manipulation, but arrays used when working with numeric data for efficient computations. Lists support a wide range of built-in operations for manipulation. Arrays have limited operations compared to lists. So performance, if I see the difference of performances for both the lists and arrays, lists are slow for numerical computations due to flexibility and overhead. Arrays faster for numerical operations due to,
Sorry, it just took me out.
okay, that's okay, no problem. So arrays faster for numerical operations due to fixed size and homogeneous data type. So let's say, okay, so there is one example here, example scenario I'm writing here. If you are storing and manipulating a collection of items where the data types may vary and the size may change, these are more appropriate. Let's see. So if you are dealing with numerical data that requires efficient storage and computations, arrays are preferable. Let's say if you are manipulating collection of items, okay, collection of items where the data types may vary, means it's a different data type, the size may change, lists are more appropriate. So if you are using the same data type, use arrays. Let's say list example, this one is a, so list example, okay, list example here, items is equal to apple, banana, cherry. Now items dot append, I'm adding one element, date, maybe date, yeah. So I'm adding one element. Now if I print let me print of, let's say, updated list items. So updated list of items. So here, so updated list apple, banana, cherry with the date. Makes sense, guys?
Yeah.
So you can have different data types in arrays, but when it comes to, lists, when it comes to list, this is array. So okay, make sure that I need to comment this one, so I'm going to use it. So here I'm going to clear everything. Okay, so here one thing is, let's say if you are dealing with numerical data that requires efficient storage, and computations. Arrays are preferable. So arrays are preferable. So if I come here, so in order to use arrays, what is the first step we have to do? We have to import array. So array array as array. So array is a shortcut. Now I'm going to use a data is equal to data is a variable here, array method, array of, okay, so array of 1 2 3 4 5. So if I do this one, okay, see array I of 1 2 3 4 5, then we append also. What does it do? It adds this element into the array at the end. Make sense, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what will happen if I remove here? If I go here, so it says error. So here, why do we get this error?
Because I is 0.
Yeah, it loops through. So I'm going to explain each one here. So here, one thing here, so this I, you have to mention I. So I is the type of code for signed integers initialized with 1 2 3 4 5. So type code, I specifies the type of elements the array will contain. So I stands for signed
Integer.
integers. Yeah, so you have to have an I. So I am going to have I.
Could it be any letter?
Let's say if I have K, um,
So it's like the first letter of the data type.
yeah, so if I gave here, so okay, so let's delete this one. If I go here, see it still says bad type code, must be B B U U H L L L. You have to use this Q of O or bad. Let's say if I use this one, so must be, if I use B, say it says B.
Okay.
So bad type code, because you cannot use different things. Okay, so there are some things for you have to remember. So I'm going to give some things in Python array module. The type code specifies the type of data that arrays will hold. The type code determines the kind of elements the array will contain. So let's say the good question you asked me is, oh, it should be I or anything. That is the very good question, guys. So now I'm going to so I, okay, I for I signed integer, we should say I is a signed integer. Signed integer means int. Okay, next let's say f is a floating point number you use for float. So if I use this b, so b signed for, let's say b signed for, oh, So is here, let's say D. Okay, D, when you use a D means double precision floating point. DYUBLE, double precision floating point. So which means like 3.456 something like that. Okay.
Okay.
Next B. Okay, so B signed integer again. Here in this case signed integer. So here now we have to use here signed integer char. Okay, so so when you say what is a signed integer char means, char only stores one value, char only stores one value. Make sense, guys?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you use char, it only holds for one value. So okay, so next okay, I signed for integers, so use bytes of memory, 4 bytes of memory for I, 4 bytes, 4 bytes of bytes of memory. Okay, so you have to understand some letters. So let's say L. Okay, floating point, B signed for char. Next the other thing is L, Q, B signed for character, signed integer. So here other thing I'm explaining. So okay, next B unsigned integer. Okay, if you use a capital B, it's a unsigned integer, unsigned character, unsigned integer. So we used also char. Okay, here also used for unsigned if you use capital B. If you use small l, small l is signed integer, used int, sorry, used for a long data type. Next q signed integer, long, when you use a q letter. When you use h is signed for unsigned short. I, capital I for unsigned int, capital L for unsigned integer, which is unsigned long, q unsigned integer, unsigned long. So we will discuss about this first one. The good question is, I'm glad you asked what is that. So okay, do you guys understand each line of things in this code? What does each thing do?
Yeah.
What is this one? The data.
It's the value, right?
No, this is the value.
Oh yeah. The variable.
So where you storing something, when you make sure that if it's in the left side, it's a variable. Stores the information. So where the variable stores the information, always left side is the variable, right side is the value. So that's the reason I always ask you to guys record your video so that I can see how you did it. So okay, tell me about a few differences about list and array.
There's no multiple data types in arrays.
Yes. Yeah, that's good. Next so we are done with the arrays. Next comes with the classes and objects. Okay, next comes with the classes and objects. So we are going to focus on classes and objects now. Okay, so I'm going to very important topic called object oriented. So object oriented is the most important thing. So in Python, um, okay, so let's say in Python class, so object oriented programming, this is the most important topic for object oriented programming is the most important it's the most important topic in the any programming. You have to understand this object oriented programming. Okay, in Python, a class is a blueprint for creating objects like instances which define. So okay, so class has a two things. What does class has? Class has a two things: attributes and methods. Okay, sorry, class is a blueprint. Okay, class is a blueprint. Class is a blueprint. So for creating objects. Okay, for creating objects. So okay, so here a class is a blueprint template for creating an object. An object is an instance of a class. A class is a template for creating objects. An object is an instance of a class. So here I'm going to explain you what is the difference between class and object. Let's say um, let's say um, one example here for class. um, Class is like a original thing, like a class is like a original thing. Let's say for talking about class, uh, let's say if you want to create a mobile phone, what do you need? If you want to make a mobile phone,
Um, like the parts for the phone.
yeah, so before the parts you need a plan design, right?
Yeah.
The design is the blueprint. Blueprint is known as a class. Okay, so let's say example, if you have a one design for creating a Apple phone, how many Apple phones you can create having that design?
However many you want.
Yes, that's it. Class is a blueprint, and those are called, however many you want to create, those are called objects. Make sense now?
Yeah.
Okay, make sense, Landon?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
one example, you guys can give me an example, both of them, based on your understanding.
Like for a class.
Yeah, class and object. So you just said what is class. I said class is a like a mobile phone design, like the original copy, and
Yeah.
from that you can make so many mobiles. Those mobiles are objects.
Objects.
So same thing, give me one example.
To build a toy car, you need like the blueprints.
Yes. So so you let's say I can give one more example. If you want to build a house, if you have a blue plan how to make a houses, so how many houses you can make?
Sorry, say the question again.
Let's
As
say,
many as you want, or as many you like are capable of making.
yeah,
Yeah.
so if you have a plan of creating houses, the original plan is a the original copy of your design or plan is called a class. You can make so many houses, you can make so many things, those are called objects. So
Yeah.
so attributes, Okay, every object has two things. Remember that every object has a attributes and methods. Every object has a attribute and methods. Okay. So what does it mean by attributes and methods? Attributes like a nouns, attributes like a nouns, methods like a actions. So let's say for example, Winnie, myself. Uh, now you, so method is an action, attribute is a noun. Okay, methods are behaviors, are behaviors, actions are verbs, attributes are nouns. Okay, let's say
Okay.
I'm gonna tell some examples. Now you guys need to answer what is a attribute, what is a method. Okay,
Okay.
so handsome,
That's
a
an
noun?
attribute.
Yeah, like an attribute.
yeah, attribute, that's good. uh, Walking,
That's like a method.
method. Sleeping,
Method.
Method.
eat,
Method.
method, that's good. Sleep,
Method.
Method.
who you guys are answering, come on. Okay, so now you understand what is a method for okay, tell me about a attributes and methods for so let's say, so I'm going to, let's say we are going to talk about this. Python is a object oriented programming language. Almost everything in Python is an object with its properties and methods. So you're all clear with this topic, right? Methods.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A class is an object constructor or a blueprint for creating object. To create a class, so first I will explain, then I will implement. To create a class, use the keyword called class. When you want to create a class, you have to use a keyword called class. Create a class named myClass with a property named x. So class, the class name here, what is the class name here?
My class.
myClass. We have a one property. Properties are nothing but a variables. You can say properties, variables, or states are the same. You guys can write it down. So when I ask next time, you don't get an error. Okay. Create a class named myClass with a
Okay.
property named x. See, same thing like a x is a variable storing 5. Okay, so if I use, so it's just we are printing because it's not printed anything. So we'll see why it's not printed. It just said the class type is myClass. myClass is a type, so we didn't print anything. So you have to use a, how you can print, we'll see in the next. So okay, for class, so class is like a design. With design you cannot do until unless you implement something, right?
Yeah.
That is called object when you create a real thing. So we can use the class named myClass to create objects. So create an object named 1 and print the value of x. Now you can print x is equal to 5. So the p1 here is an object. So how do we create an object? So first you can give the object name. You can give, objects are also called as variables. I can give, like say I can give myClass. You don't need to use myClass, or maybe my object equal to, now you have to use a class name. What is our class name? My class open closed bracket. Okay, now use a print statement. Okay, using, what is our object name?
My class.
No, my object.
Oh.
So the left side one is the object. So here is the p1 object. You don't need to use a p1. You can use any name. So that's what I'm saying. You have to use a object dot the variable name. What is our variable name? X. So this is of how we create an objects. So but see, like, so because we used built-in functions, sometimes it does not support. We have to go back. Okay, so we have to go back to our code. So print my object, so sorry, my object, let's see. Now it's going to work. I had made mistake, so see, I did 2 times, so instead of this I can use this one. Maybe x is, now I can x is equal to 10. What will be the object value right next? If I print, what you will get? So
So you get 5 and 10.
no, because I discussed this one the first day of the class. So you get the latest one when you assign latest one.
Yeah.
So you programming will take the Python will take the latest one. That's okay. We are still learners. So the best way to succeed in a programming is to practice. When you practice, you will succeed. Next, the init function. Okay, the init function. The example above are classes and objects in their simplest form and are not really useful in real life applications. To understand the meaning of classes, we have to understand the built-in init function. Okay, built-in. What is built-in means?
It means it comes with the program.
Comes with the program. Great. So to understand the meaning of classes in Python, we have to understand the built-in init function. Okay, so this is init function. All classes have function called init. All classes have function called init, which is always executed when the class is being initiated. So when the class is being initiated, so it will execute. So because function, you need to call the function, right? When you print anything for functions, so we talked about functions yesterday. Okay, so this is a function, right? My
Yeah.
function. For function, you have to call the function in order to work the function. So if I uncomment this one, maybe, so if I go, see it printed. What will
Yeah.
happen if I don't call the function? If I don't call the function, what's going to happen? It doesn't
Just
it doesn't happen. So which means you're telling function or method means an action. You function, you're giving so many instructions. What will happen? Hey Mason, could you go to the store and please buy mango, apple, bananas, milk, chocolates and stuff? What will happen if you don't move from
it
where you
won't
are?
work.
So you don't get anything, right? The same
Yeah.
thing, function means you have to move, you have to go, like you have to call in order to work the function. Make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
But the init function is a built-in function. You don't need to call init function. It will work automatically when you create a object for the class. So hopefully we'll understand now how it's going to happen. So don't need to worry. So init function, all classes have a function called init function, which is always executed when the class is being initiated. Okay, use the init function to assign values to object properties. Okay, object properties, what does it mean, object properties? In this case, give me example, Landon and Mason, one example for each. Who is the object? Give me properties. What is a class and what is object? We just discussed.
A class is like a blueprint, and an object is like what you're making with the blueprint.
Yeah.
Who? So
Yeah.
objects, everything is an object. Everything is an object, real thing. But I really appreciate you guys because you are I'm very happy because you're putting so much effort. But I promise you, if you pray fully and study and do the homework every day, once we're done with all the basics, then we'll jump into the projects. We will implement one by one. Okay.
All right.
So let's give me example of object properties. Object is real thing. Okay, something you can see, not only real thing, which means like you can feel it, right?
Yeah.
Object, you can feel it. Properties, what does the properties we just discussed?
Property is Holy crap, bro! I'm kind of stupid.
Okay, I'm gonna
It's
give it.
like,
So it's opposite of methods. Method is what?
mm,
Method is a verb. Okay,
Yeah.
properties are.
yeah.
So method is a verb. Properties are. It starts with N.
Properties. That's with an N.
N-O. Those are called parts of speech. These are 8 types. What are the parts of speech in English? Noun, pronoun,
Verb,
verb,
adjective.
adjective, adverb, conjunction, interjection, something like this. So properties are verbs.
Mm.
So
Alright.
give me one object like a Winnie. What are the Winnie properties? Can someone describe Winnie properties?
Like Vinny running or something like that.
Yeah, properties. Running is called method. It's like a action, right?
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the what is the object properties for Winnie? So if Winnie is the object now, and properties.
It's like an adjective, right?
Yeah.
Vinny's smart.
Thank you. Yeah, that's so. Yeah, adjectives. It describes the noun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the whole meaning. You don't need to call, let's say, init function to assign a values to object properties or other properties that are necessary to do when the object is being created. Okay. So let me copy this code. Okay, so if I run this one, what you get, John and 36. So instead of copying code, let me write it down. We'll take break at 7 o'clock. Is that okay, guys?
Yeah.
So sorry, because I wanted to complete so this is called a regular function, right? Regular function, what you have to do, you have to call the you have to call it in order to run the program, right? Inside the function, it 1 2 3 4. What will happen if you don't call function?
Then it won't work.
It won't work. It's like telling Mason. So Vinod came to you. Hey Mason, would you please buy this? I give you a bunch of things. So these are the statements, 5 statements. You don't need to use only print statement. You can write so many things here, like print 2 plus 20 plus 20. Anything you can do. If I run this one, it's not going to work. So because you didn't call, like I'm giving so many instructions, you do this, Mason never put it into action. What will happen if you don't put it into an action?
Then it won't do anything.
Yeah, same thing Python. But if it's if I use, let's create. So in order to work this one, you have to call the function. Make sure that, guys, now maybe I can use it here. So I'm gonna call this one.
Where's the other garbage can?
So what happened? Okay, so you call, let's say I'm gonna have one more print statement, 3 plus 5. 3 plus 5, what will I get? I'm going to remove. Now I don't need all these. Oh my goodness. So if I run this one, I get hello world. So this is called regular function, right? Now I'm going to use create a class named person. Use the init function to assign values for name and age. So that's, yeah, right. Yeah, so let's say if you want to create a class, what keyword you have to use?
My class.
That is a class name. So
Oh.
so you have to use a keyword class. So I'm writing class, which means you are writing a class. I'm giving a person. Person. Make sure that always use for class capital letters. When you create a class, the class name is person here. The class is a keyword here. So I'm using def and init method. So for init method, you have to use two underscores, one underscore, two underscore, init. So init is a built-in function, or so built-in function means, so okay, so init is a built-in function, right?
Yeah.
What does it mean by built-in function means?
Comes with the program.
Very great.
Comes
So
with the program. Yeah.
yeah, so anything built-in functions, those are comes with the anything comes from. So so here one thing we have to understand, why what I'm going to teach you here. Make sure that, okay, let me write it the code first. Okay, so we have, these are called, what do you guys call these three? Self, name, age.
Yeah.
What are those called? We discussed yesterday. Inside a function, if you have three things or one thing, those are called parameters.
Oh yeah.
Those are called parameters. So those are called parameters. So here the first keyword always self. What is the first keyword in the init function? Always use self. Okay, always use the self.
Oh.
Okay, okay, so here I'm going to ask you few things. What is class definition? How do we define a class?
A blueprint.
Yeah, how do we define a class? How do we write a class? So let me tell you. So for defining class, you have to use a keyword called class, then the class name colon. Make sense?
Yeah.
Then def init method is a init function, and also there is a name for this one is a called constructor or init method or init method. So there are so many names. This is called init. Is when you use a method or a function or anything, you have to use a keyword called def, then write the method name. What is our method name here? Init. Okay, how many parameters we have inside the method?
Two or
3 include
three.
the self. So but here self represents the instance of the class. It is used to access variables that belongs to class. So this is not a parameter. You are right. So you are right, Mason. So here self okay, represents represents the instance of the class. It is used to access variables that belong to the class. So okay, so self represents the instance of the class. It is used to access variables that belongs to the class. So parameters are nothing but a variables. Okay, parameters are nothing but a variables. How many parameters we have?
Two.
What are those?
Name and age.
Name and age. Great. So makes sense, Landon?
Yeah.
Okay, see, self represent the instance of the class. It is used to access variables that belong to the class, which means this name and age belongs to the class. What is our class name here?
NA. Oh, person.
Great. So these variables belongs to the class, and in order to access, in order to access those variables you have to use a keyword called self. So you don't need to use a called self, you can use any name, Landon, Mason, Winnie, or anything, but by convention we use keyword called self. So use self.name equal to win name, self.age is equal to age. Okay, do you guys remember what is this one, the p1, what is it? It's an object. Okay,
Yeah.
so class is a blueprint. What is our class here?
Person
Person, right?
or
Here is our object is p1. Our object is a p1. Okay, so p1 equal to person. You have to pass the value. How many parameters we have here?
2.
2. You have to pass the 2 values. These values called what? When you pass a values,
Integer and string.
yeah, those are data types, integer and string. But we discussed one more thing. These are called arguments.
Arguments.
Yeah, we discussed last night. When you pass name, because name is a something string, age is 14. So now print, you have to use a p1 dot variable name, object dot name, object name, date, variable name. So when I say p1 dot name, what will I get?
You'll get
So
name and age.
yeah, so I don't. Okay, so here you have to call the function. See, did I call the init function here?
No.
No, just you need to create an object, p1 equal to person, Landon 14. So print p1 dot name, print p1 dot age. So now you guys can share your screen and show me how to do. I want you to guys write the class and object and some values what I did and explain it to me right now. So you guys decide which one, who wants to go first.
You want to go first, Mason?
So
Sure.
yeah, I can give you the code. So I'm gonna copy and paste it into both of you guys because I wanted to help you. This is a very important topic. See, one thing, I am your teacher, I am your friend. So more than teacher, I am your friend. So my goal is to not to teach, but help you guys to learn, and I want you to succeed. Once we finish the whole course, I want you to be self-reliant. Like, oh, I know how to do this. Even if you go to college, if someone says what is class, what is an object, what is function, what is array, what is list, what is tuple, what is set, what is variable, what is string, what is int, I want you to be more self-reliant. If someone give you some problems, I want you to solve. So you know what is it make sense?
Yeah.
You guys are very kind. Someone said me thanks. Oh, it makes me happy. So okay, so now you guys can share your screen. I'm also going to today I'm going to give you the thing what is called I will send you how to download Visual Studio Code. Anyways, maybe I give it to code for both of you, right? Only one person.
You give it to both of us.
Okay, now what you have to do, let's take a break, come at 7:10, right?
Okay.
Yeah, now then we'll discuss. The only thing is I need a explanation. You can take different class, different like I took a name and age. You guys can take maybe something different, like height, weight. Both are integers. So then you can implement. You can explain me what is self and other things. I'm also giving. So yeah, I also put the meaning of what is self. Okay, yeah, let's come back again.